The wind was cold on this alien world. Dry dust moved slowly across broken metal and stone. The sky above was dark purple, with 2 moons watching silently. There was no sound, no animals, no people, just silence. Captain Ray Martin walked slowly across the dead land. His boots crunched softly on cracked ground. He was alone, wearing his Earth-issued exploration suit. His ship, the Horizon Star, stood far behind him, half covered in dirt from the last sandstorm. He came here looking for minerals, maybe old alien tech. Nothing more. But something felt strange about this place. His scanner beeped. Life signs. Detected. Ray stopped walking. "That's odd," he whispered. The reading showed 3 life forms, not far. But before he could move, the signal disappeared. He looked around. Nothing. Just ruins of what once was a city. Broken towers, walls burnt by war, and statues cracked in half. Then he heard it. Footsteps. Soft, slow, and not human. He turned quickly, hand on his sidearm. But he did not draw it. What stood behind him was not an enemy. It was her. She was tall, slim, and clearly not human. Her skin was smooth and light blue, like calm water. Her eyes glowed faintly like 2 small stars, and silver blue hair fell across her shoulders. Her face was sharp yet soft. Beautiful, but tired. Very tired. She wasn't alone. 2 children stood beside her, a boy and a girl, maybe 6 and 9 in human years. They were quiet, hiding behind her legs, peeking at Ray with curious, frightened eyes. The woman stepped forward, slowly, with empty hands raised. Her voice was soft, full of sorrow. "Please, don't leave. My children, they are well behaved. I can be a good wife to you, human." Ray blinked. He thought maybe he didn't hear her right. "What?" he said. "I'm not dangerous," she continued. "I know you don't know me, but you're the only one who came. We have nothing left. No food, no friends, no future." She looked down at her children. "I only want them to live. And I will be yours, if you'll let us stay close." Ray's hand fell away from his weapon. He stared at her. His mind raced. He had met aliens before. Traitors, soldiers, pirates, but never someone like her. "What's your name?" he asked carefully. "Valerie." He nodded slowly. "And the children?" "My son is Liru. My daughter is Nessa." Ray looked at the children again. Liru was holding a small broken toy, maybe a figure of some alien animal. Nessa had a torn cloth doll with buttons for eyes. Both were dirty, thin, but alert. Ray sighed. "I'm not here to stay long, just scanning the area." "I know," Valerie whispered. "But we have been waiting, hoping someone would come. And then you arrived." Ray looked around again. "Is there anyone else?" Valerie shook her head. "They're all gone." He didn't know what to say. He was a soldier before. He had seen war, pain, destruction. But this was different. She wasn't asking for rescue. She was offering herself. To him. Not with anger. Not with fear. But with quiet strength. "Why me?" he asked. "You are human," she said. "And I was told, humans care. Humans protect." He raised an eyebrow. "Not all of us." "But maybe you," she said, her voice trembling. "Maybe you will." Ray didn't answer. Valerie turned and pointed toward the broken city. "We have a shelter. It's not much. But you can come. See for yourself." For a long moment, Ray stood still. Then slowly he nodded. "All right. I'll come. But just for a while." She smiled gently, the first smile he had seen on this world. "Thank you," she said. The shelter was hidden behind fallen metal walls and thick layers of dust. Inside, it was simple. Blankets, a fire made from glowing alien crystals, and a small pot with some kind of stew cooking. It smelled strange but not bad. The children sat quietly in a corner, playing with their broken toys. Valerie offered Ray a seat and poured him a drink from a clean glass. "This place was once my home," she said, "before the war." "What war?" Ray asked. She looked into the fire. "Your people and mine. A misunderstanding. It became a battle. Then a war. My husband fought. He died." Ray didn't answer. He had served in that war. He remembered the reports. The human side said they were attacked first. But now he wasn't so sure. "I don't blame you," she said. "I just want to survive." She looked at him again. "I am strong. I can cook, clean, grow food. I can take care of a man. I need someone who can protect my children. In return, I offer myself." Ray felt something in his chest. Not love. Not yet. But something. "They listen to me," she said. "They are kind, obedient. You will never have trouble with them." He nodded. "They seem good." Valerie placed her hand gently on her chest. "Then, is there hope?" Ray didn't speak. He looked at the children. They watched him with wide eyes, waiting. The silence was broken by the wind outside, distant, but growing. Ray stood. "I'll stay the night." Valerie's eyes filled with quiet tears. "Thank you." That night, Ray couldn't sleep. He looked out from the shelter's opening. The stars above were sharp, closer than on Earth. One of the moons was red, the other white. Valerie sat beside the fire, humming softly to her children. He watched her, the way she touched their heads, the way she looked at them. She had lost everything, her home, her people, her husband. And still, she fought to keep her children alive. Ray felt something deep in his heart, a feeling he hadn't known in years. Respect. He turned to look at the scanner beside his bag. He turned it on again. Life signs. 3 nearby. Stable. Then, a flicker. Another signal. Distant. Watching. His eyes narrowed. He picked up his weapon slowly. Someone else was out there. The night passed slowly. Captain Ray Martin didn't sleep well. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that flickering signal on his scanner, a 4th life sign. It wasn't near, but it was watching. Then it vanished again. He kept his weapon close as he sat near the glowing crystal fire. The warmth helped, but his thoughts did not. In the other corner of the small shelter, Valerie slept with her 2 children curled up beside her. The alien woman looked peaceful in sleep, but her face held pain. The kind of pain that doesn't go away easily, the kind that stays behind the eyes. Ray stood and stepped outside for air. The world was quiet again. Dust moved like ghosts across the ruined land. The broken towers in the distance looked like the bones of giants. This city was once something great. Now it was nothing. He looked at the sky. The red moon was fading, and the white one was rising. Morning was coming. Just then, a soft voice spoke behind him. "You didn't sleep." Ray turned. Valerie was standing at the doorway of the shelter, a thin blanket around her shoulders. "No," Ray said. "Didn't feel safe." Valerie nodded slowly. "I understand." "You saw the scanner?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "There are others. Out there. Watching. Waiting. But they don't come close. Not yet." Ray narrowed his eyes. "Who are they?" Valerie looked at the ground. Her voice lowered. "Raiders. Survivors of the war. They steal, kill, take what they want. They used to be part of our world. Now they are nothing but shadows." Ray crossed his arms. "Do they know about you?" "I've seen them," she said. "They saw me once, but I moved. Hid. I've kept my children safe." "For how long?" "Too long," she whispered. Back inside, Valerie made a simple breakfast from dried roots and nutrient bars Ray gave her. The children ate quietly but smiled when Ray shared one of his earth snacks, a sweet protein bar flavored like strawberries. It was the first time they laughed. "Tell me more about your husband," Ray said, breaking the silence. Valerie looked down, her hands tightened around a clay cup. "His name was Cal. He was strong, the leader in our city. He believed we could live beside humans, trade, learn, grow together. He thought peace was possible." "What happened?" "There was a battle," she said. "It started in space, a misunderstanding. Shots were fired. A station was destroyed. My people thought humans attacked first. So, war followed. Cale fought to protect us, but he was taken. I never saw him again." Ray nodded slowly. "I was a soldier in that war." Valerie didn't look angry. "Then you know what it cost." "Yes," he said quietly. "Too many lives." She reached out and touched her son's hair gently. "Cale told me once, if something happened to him, I must survive for the children. That was the last thing he said to me." Ray saw it in her eyes. She wasn't just surviving. She was holding everything together by will alone. "You're strong," Ray said. Valerie gave a small smile. "I have no choice." Later that day, Ray helped Valerie repair the broken solar panel on top of the shelter. She was surprised he knew how to handle alien tech. "I learned from a friend," he said. "She was a siren, engineer class. Good teacher. You worked with aliens before." "I served on a diplomatic ship after the war, trying to rebuild trust." "Did it work?" Ray paused. "Sometimes." Valerie sat beside him as he tightened the final wire. Her eyes watched him carefully. "You still haven't answered," she said. "Answered what?" "Why you're still here." Ray looked at her. "I don't know yet." Valerie didn't press him. She just stood and said softly, "When you decide, I will accept it." That night, the air was warmer. The children slept peacefully. Ray sat by the fire again, watching the flames dance in the crystals. Valerie sat across from him. Her long silver-blue hair shimmered in the light. "Your people," she began, "do they accept outsiders?" Ray hesitated. "It's complicated. Some do, some don't. On Earth, there's still fear. Some think aliens can't be trusted." She nodded. "Same here." Ray leaned forward. "So why ask to be with a human? Why me?" Valerie looked directly at him. "Because you didn't turn your back when I spoke to you. You listened. You looked at my children with care, not disgust." She held his gaze. "And because I am tired of being alone." Ray didn't answer. He didn't have the words. Instead, he stood and walked to the doorway. But before he stepped outside, he stopped. "I don't know what the future holds, Valerie. But I'm not leaving. Not yet." Valerie smiled. "A real one this time. Then stay as long as your heart allows." The next morning, Ray woke early. He checked his scanner again. Life signs, free nearby. Then again, a flicker. A fourth. This time closer. He grabbed his gear and stepped outside. The wind had picked up, blowing dust over the ground. He moved to the edge of the shelter and scanned the ruins. Nothing. But his gut told him something was coming. He turned to Valerie. "Pack what you can. Be ready to move if I say." She nodded. No questions. Ray set up motion detectors around the shelter. They were small and camouflage. If anything moved nearby, he'd know. Then he returned inside. Valerie was kneeling beside a small stone box, opening it slowly. Inside were a few old items, a ring, a piece of cloth, and a small glowing cube. "What is that?" Ray asked. She held it up. "A memory cube. From Cale." Ray stepped closer. The cube lit up, showing a 3D image of her husband. He was tall, strong, smiling. His voice played through the cube. "If you find this, then I'm gone. Valerie, my love, protect our children. And if you find someone kind, someone who sees you, truly sees you, let him in. Let him love you. Live." Valeri's hands trembled slightly, but she didn't cry. She closed the box and set it aside. Ray was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "He was a good man." "Yes," she whispered, "he was." That night, the wind howled louder. The sensors beeped. Movement, south side, 10 meters away. Ray grabbed his rifle and stepped outside slowly. Valeri followed quietly, holding the children back inside. He scanned the area, nothing in sight. But then he saw it, a flash of movement between two broken walls. He aimed, "Show yourself." No reply. He moved forward, careful, step by step. Dust swirled around him. Then a voice from the shadows. "Give us the woman and the children, or you die here, human." Ray's heart pounded. Not happening. A laugh, cold and bitter. "You think you can protect them? You're just one man." Ray didn't answer. He fired a warning shot into the air. The shadow disappeared. He returned to the shelter quickly. "They know we're here," he said. "We're not safe anymore." Valeri stood calmly. "Then we move." Ray looked at her. "I know a place. An old supply base. Humans used it before. Might still be working. We can go there. But it's 2 days on foot." "I can walk," she said. "And so can they." Ray looked at the children. They were already putting their things in bags. No crying. No panic. They had done this before. He nodded. "Then we leave at dawn." That night, Valeri sat beside him once more. "I still want to be yours," she said quietly. "Not because I'm desperate, but because you're the first one who made me feel safe." Ray looked into her glowing eyes. "I'm not perfect," he said. "I've done bad things, hurt people." She reached out and touched his hand. "So have I. But we are not our past. We are who we choose to be now." Ray held her hand tightly. They sat there, two souls from different worlds, finding warmth in the cold. Outside, the wind howled louder. But inside the shelter, a bond was growing. The sun rose behind thick red clouds as Captain Ray Martin packed the last of their supplies. The air felt heavier today. Something was coming. He could feel it in his bones. Valeri tied a rough cloth around her daughter's shoulders to shield her from the dust. Lyru, the older child, checked the bags silently, copying Ray's serious expression. Nessa held onto her broken doll, but even she knew this wasn't just a walk. They were leaving. The shelter that had protected them for so long was no longer safe. As they stepped out into the morning haze, Ray scanned the ruins behind them one last time. The wind whispered through the shattered towers. A memory flashed through his mind. Valeri sitting by the fire, her children asleep, her soft voice saying, "Then we move." And so they did. For the first few hours, the journey was quiet. Ray led the way, with Valeri walking just behind him, and the children close beside her. The ground was uneven, filled with old battle scars. Craters, bones, broken machines half buried in the dirt. Every few minutes, Ray stopped and scanned the area. No signs of movement. But the tension in his chest didn't go away. After crossing a dried-out riverbed, Valeri spoke softly. "There used to be a village here. My sister lived nearby. She had a daughter the same age as Nessa." "What happened to them?" Ray asked. Valeri didn't answer right away. "They didn't make it." Ray nodded in silence. There was nothing else to say. By midday, the heat was rising. They stopped under the remains of a metal bridge for shade. Ray handed out water packs and energy bars. The children ate quickly. Valeri sat beside Ray. "You said this old base is safe." It was a research station, abandoned near the end of the war. "I've been there once. Still had working power and shields. Last I checked. And if it doesn't work anymore?" Ray looked at her. "Then we keep moving." Valeri smiled faintly. "You always have a plan." Ray shrugged. "It's the soldier in me." Just then, The scanner on his belt beeped softly. Movement. South. Fast. His face hardened. Time to move. The second half of the day was harder. The wind kicked up sand and dust, making it difficult to see. The children started to slow down, but they didn't complain. Ray admired their strength. Even without a father, Valerie had raised them to be disciplined. But they were being followed. Ray didn't say it out loud, but he could feel it. He could sense the eyes in the dust. As they crossed a ridge, Valerie grabbed his arm suddenly. Look! Ray turned. Far in the distance, just barely visible through the storm, figures. 4 of them. Fast. Armed. Raiders, she whispered. Ray's heart pounded. He scanned the terrain. There's an old supply bunker not far, he said. It won't last forever, but it'll give us time. He picked up Nessa into his arms. We run. Now. They reached the bunker just as the shadows drew closer. Ray slammed the rusted door shut and sealed it with a metal rod. The inside was dark, dusty, but dry. Old crates and empty racks lined the walls. A broken turret stood near the door, useless now. Valerie leaned against the wall, breathing hard. The children huddled close. Ray moved quickly, setting up motion alarms around the bunker's interior. His rifle was ready. We don't have long, he said. They're close. Valerie looked up. Will you fight? Ray nodded. If I have to. You're alone. I'm enough. The first noise came an hour later. A soft clank. Then another. Someone was walking across the roof. Ray raised his weapon, eyes sharp. He whispered to Valerie, take the children to the back room. Stay quiet. She didn't argue. Then, silence. Until the door rattled. A voice spoke through the metal. Human, you're brave, but foolish. Give us the woman. Give us the children, or die trying to protect them. Ray didn't answer. The voice laughed. Do you really think you can stop us? Ray pressed a button on his belt. Let's find out. He had wired an old charge to the front path. As soon as one of the raiders stepped near it, boom! The bunker shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. A scream followed. One down. But the others were still coming. Inside, Ray moved with calm focus. He set traps, checked corners, and adjusted his aim. Every second mattered. He heard movement at the rear window, one trying to break in. Ray turned and fired. A short burst. Then silence again. Another one gone. 2 left. But now, they were angry. Suddenly, the main door burst open. Smoke poured in. Ray stood firm. A tall, armored figure walked through, gun raised. Behind him, a smaller one crept in. Ray fired first. The first shot hit the smaller one. Down. The tall one charged. They fought hand to hand. Weapons dropped. Fists flew. Ray blocked a blade, twisted the raider's arm, slammed him into the wall. But the raider was strong. Too strong. Ray stumbled, bleeding from the shoulder. The raider raised his blade again. Then a flash of blue light. Valerie stood behind the raider, holding a glowing alien spear. She plunged it into his back. He fell. Silence. Ray leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Valerie dropped the weapon and rushed to him. You're hurt. I've had worse, he said, smiling through the pain. You fought for us, she whispered. He looked at her. Of course I did. You could have run. I don't run. Later, Ray sat while Valerie wrapped his arm. The children were quiet, but Nessa held Ray's other hand gently. Liru stood watch with a piece of metal like a sword. Ray smiled at them both. You're brave kids. Valerie looked at him. They trust you. I trust them too. She placed her hand on his chest. You could go back to your world. To safety. Ray shook his head. I think I've already found something better. Her eyes widened. Do you mean that? He nodded. You asked for someone who would care. For you. For them. I'm not perfect. but I'm here." Valeri's voice broke softly. "Then, maybe we're not alone anymore." As the night settled, the bunker grew quiet again. Ray sat with Valeri and the children, sharing stories of Earth, oceans, music, rain. Valeri told him about her city before the war, its lights, its laughter, her dreams of peace. "I wanted my children to grow in love," she said, "not fear." Ray looked at her. "Then let's build that. Together." Valeri leaned on his shoulder, and for the first time in years, both of them felt safe. Outside, the dust still blew across the land. But inside, a new family was beginning to form, forged not by blood, but by choice, sacrifice, and hope. Morning came gently. The dust storm had passed, and soft golden light fell through the broken vents of the old bunker. Outside, the skies were clear, for the first time in weeks. Ray opened his eyes slowly. His shoulders still ached from the fight, but the pain had dulled. It was the kind of ache a soldier knew well, the kind that reminded you were still alive. Valeri was already awake, sitting near the children. Nessa slept curled against her side, and Leroux kept watch with a wooden stick still clutched in his hand. He took that duty seriously now. Ray smiled to himself. They had survived. As he sat up, Valeri looked over and gave him a soft smile. There was something different in her eyes now. The fear was still there, but it wasn't alone anymore. Now, there was peace. "You should rest more," she said gently. "I've rested enough," Ray replied. "We need to move soon." Valeri nodded. "Where to?" "There's a hill, a few kilometers east. I saw it on the old maps. If the base is still standing, it'll be there, shielded, hidden." She didn't ask if it was dangerous. She didn't ask if they'd be welcome. Instead, she said, "Then we go together." Ray stood and walked to the door. The world outside was brighter now. The shadows were gone, at least for now. He turned to Valeri. "We're not just surviving anymore." She understood what he meant. They packed quietly, moving with practiced rhythm. Valeri checked supplies, wrapped the children in light shawls, and helped Ray adjust his gear. Leroux had made a new sword from a bent pipe and held it proudly. As they stepped out of the bunker, the air felt clean. The dust had settled. The sky above them held two suns rising together, a rare event on this planet. Valeri whispered something in her language and looked up. "What did you say?" Ray asked. "It's a blessing," she replied. "The twin suns mean a new beginning." Ray looked at her, then at the kids walking beside them. "Good," he said. "We could use one." The journey to the base took most of the day. They moved slowly, carefully. No signs of raiders. No life at all, really, just silence and open sky. But for once, the silence didn't feel dangerous. It felt peaceful. Valeri spoke softly as they walked. "My people have a tradition," she said. "When a widow finds new hope, she plants a shard of her old life in new soil. It grows into something new, a different future." Ray raised an eyebrow. "What kind of shard?" "A memory, a promise, a part of the heart." He didn't speak, but her words stayed with him. By afternoon, they reached the hill. It was steep, rocky, and overgrown. But at the top, half buried in vines and sand, stood the old human base. Metal doors, faded logos, rusted panels. But the structure was still intact. Ray walked forward and brushed the dust off a control panel. It flickered weakly, then lit up. "Still alive," he muttered. Valeri stood beside him. "Is it safe? We'll find out." Ray tapped the code he remembered. A moment passed, and then the door slid open with a deep metallic groan. Inside, the lights flickered on one by one, like stars returning to the night sky. The base was small but well built. 2 rooms, a generator, a water purifier, even a comms terminal, damaged but possibly repairable. Ray checked every corner, every system. Villari and the children waited patiently. When he finally returned, he nodded. "We can stay here. It's safe." Villari smiled. Not the small, tired smile from before. A real one. A hopeful one. She sat with the children and began to unpack. Ray helped Liru arrange their sleeping spots and even fixed Nessa's doll using a piece of cloth and a bit of wire. For the first time in a long while, laughter filled the air. That night, they sat around a small lamp in the center of the base. Villari handed Ray a warm drink made from dried roots. It tasted bitter, but comforting. "You don't have to stay," she said quietly. "You've done more than anyone. If you want to return to your world." Ray didn't let her finish. "I'm already where I need to be." She looked at him. "I don't want to be a burden," she said. "I don't want you to feel trapped." Ray took her hand. "You're not a burden. You're a choice. One I've made." Villari's eyes filled with emotion. "My children need a father. I need someone who sees us, who stays." Ray didn't let go of her hand. "Then you found one." The next days passed peacefully. Ray repaired the power systems. Villari cleaned and made the space feel like a home. The children explored safely and began to laugh more. They ate together, told stories, and even found an old music player in storage. Villari taught Ray a dance from her people. It was simple, gentle, a rhythm of the heart. One evening, as the sun set and cast golden light through the glass dome, Villari stood beside Ray, watching the horizon. "You once said you didn't know the future," she said. "I still don't," he replied. "But now," she said softly, "we can make one." He turned to her. "Together." She nodded. Weeks passed. Ray and Villari planted a small garden outside the base using seeds from the supply crates. Liru helped build a wind trap to gather more water. Nessa painted the walls with chalk and color. Ray repaired the comms terminal. One day, it would let them speak to others. Maybe even Earth. But for now, silence was okay. The family, once broken, now whole, had begun a new life. One night, Villari brought out a small crystal. "The shard," she said, "from Cal's memory box." She placed it in a patch of clean soil near the garden. Ray watched as she pressed her hand to it. The shard began to glow faintly. "What happens now?" he asked. Villari looked at him, her voice warm. "Now, it grows, not as a reminder of pain, but of love." She reached for his hand. "The past is still part of us. But so is this moment. So is this future." Ray smiled. "I never thought I'd find a home on a dead planet." Villari leaned close. "It's not dead anymore." As the stars filled the night sky, Ray sat with Villari and the children under the open dome. They looked up, not with fear, but with wonder. Nessa pointed to a star and asked, "Is that where your people live?" Ray nodded. "Somewhere out there." "Will they come here?" "Maybe one day," Ray said. "But for now, this is home." Liru nodded. "Then I will protect it. Like you do." Ray smiled. "Good man." Villari leaned her head on his shoulder. "You've given us more than safety, Ray. You've given us family." Ray looked at them. This strange, beautiful family born from war, pain, and hope. And he whispered, "You've given me the same."